Alright guys, got back from Nationals the other day from Chicago. Um, the deck I played HeatWaveRabbit, and I played it all weekend. I had my Mermel deck with me, but I didn't play it in any events. I wanted to, but I ran out of money, basically, to play in events. That's basically what it was, or I would have played in as many as I could have. But anyways, my matchups were fairly all meta except for like maybe a couple. I played 3 Evil Swarms, 4 Prophecy, 4 Dragon Ruler, 1 Karkargaria, 3 Mermail, I think. I lost to 1 Evil Swarm, 1 Spellbook, which I can't believe I lost to. Oh yeah, Heavy Storm, that's what it was. 2 Dragon Ruler, and I lost to 1 Evil Swarm. Everything else I beat. Now, I blame myself for the Evil Swarm loss, which cost me my last chance invite in the finals. But let's go ahead and get in the deck. Okay, obviously the 6 staple normals. Most people hate drawing them. In my rabbit deck, I like drawing my normals, just not all of my normals. I made 1 Falsadina, as I'm not the only one that's been doing this. I started doing it when the Evil Swarms were announced because it can answer Ophion well, and along with some of their other board, but mainly Ophion, because this deck doesn't, other than something like this, you can't deal with Ophion that well unless you lance it or something in damage. But that depends on how good the other player is. And then we have other things like stuff in the extra deck, but mainly this guy. In game 1 anyways, like you only have him. I chose to only run the double Guaiba because I wanted to keep the deck count at 41 or lower, and I had to fit this one of my tech cards in, which was this card, Heatwave. It allows me to keep up with Dragon Rollers and Spellbooks mainly. It gives me a little bit worse matchup against Evil Swarms, I feel, because they have a bigger normal monster than I do. What its effect is over here is for those who can't read, I suppose, this card can only be activated at the start of main phase 1, so before I do anything else. Neither player can normal or special summon an effect monster until my next draw phase. So if I'm going to dragons or spellbooks, that means that, especially if I go first, it means I basically take 2 turns before they get a turn. They can activate, dragons can activate Gold Sark and stuff, but all they can do is set a baby dragon. If they want to. They might not do that. But, spellbooks can't get a spellcaster face up on the field on their first turn. Meaning that they might be able to judgment, but they can't master, they can't fate until their second turn. They can set magician, but by my second turn, I will hopefully have a Dolka on the field for that. So it won't matter. Nothing else will matter. Their second turn, they shouldn't be able to get one on the field either, because I'll have a Dolka and possibly a lance or something, I don't know. So I'll play this card, normal summon one of these guys, and basically pass my turn, or I can set this and flip summon the next turn. Two Guaiba is okay. I mean, it's not three, obviously. You draw more than one less often, and once you somewhat rarely get its effect anyways because of the current meta. Everything has big monsters, and I'm only running the double lance. Yeah, you're with this deck more often than not you're gonna be normaling and then normaling or something like that, or like Monster Born. Okay, obviously double rabbit for power play with normals. Thunder Kings completely trash spellbooks, especially with the lands, because every time I had Thunder King, they had Book of Moon, and I had lands. Luckily, but everybody has Book of Moon. Tour guides, obviously more power plays. I get sad when this gets Veilered. I don't care about Maxi really that much. Because no matter how many cards dragons have in their hands, they still can only summon a limited number of times. But then again, also I'm trying to make dragons run out of cards, basically. With Dolkas, I have Dark Hole for some obvious reasons. Clear my opponent's board. I can play Heat Wave, play Dark Hole, summon my monster. Lance is obviously for Guaiba plays, and also protecting my stuff from your back row, which I don't have to worry about. Well, I can protect my stuff from like Chalice or something, but still. Not as much, like breakthrough skill's not a problem that much for some reason. I don't know why people aren't playing it. Anyways, we already looked at Heat Wave. I think this is a great tech, and I believe at 3 it's really good. Especially if I already have a board and my opponent doesn't have like anything, maybe a set monster. I can play Heat Wave, attack, and then during my opponent's turn, they don't get to play a monster. They can set a monster, but that's it. And then I get more attacks and probably be game. Or against Mermails, this is fun. They set Lind, and you play this and summon a normal and attack into Lind, and its effect can't go off. Obviously, heavy and Monster Born. Monster Born, I don't generally like opening this in macro, but because I'd rather open macro instead of this. But it happens. This card's too good to play. I mean, not to play. The Double MST, there's people maining vanities right now, and also I don't like having a rabbit in my hand and my opponent having like a set card or something like that. So I need to push those set cards out of the way to make sure I get my rabbit plays off. But MST is pretty good against both Mermails. It's okay against Evil Swarms, and it's pretty good against Prophecy if you know what you're doing. Like, there's star holes, and you can make the field spell mistiming, and they can attack into like Thunder King or something or Guaiba with their star hole and field, spawn to their attack, MST the star hole. Obviously, good special summon, or just get their monster off the board. Pot Duality, Obviously, it's lets you dig for things. Obviously you can't, or unfortunately, you can't pod duality into a heat wave and play it, because you would have to have a heat wave before you pod duality. But it would set up a heat wave play next turn if you took it. Depending on what it reveals in the situation, but yeah. Bottomless is bottomless. You know, bottomless the any kind of XYZ that dragons bring out, or the big dragons if you have T-King, if the big dragon can attack. Like if it's brought out with the baby dragons, then generally you're not going to use bottomless on it because it can't attack anyways, so it doesn't matter. I was playing at first D-Prisons, but I took them off for the compulsories because I found D-Prison not to be useful this format. And Compulse 2 is more useful because it's more chainable, and it is it's chainable, catch people off guard, you know, it's Compulse. You have to use it right for it to be good, but it's just really good this format. Last format I didn't play it because I didn't like it, but because more often than not last format I feel like it was a neg 1 and I don't like neg 1s. But yeah, the triple Fiendish worked out really well, getting around things like Wisdom, Pandemic. Like a lot of times I had a Fiendish Chain and a Mirror Force set or something, and they would this guy had like Ophion and three normal and Kirkion and something else out, and he attacked, and I Fiendish Chained his Ophion, and he played Pandemic, and then I chained Mirror Force. Or something like that. Or like summon Ophion, activate Fiendish, he chains the Pandemic, and I play Torrential, obviously. And opening macro and something like Faucetine or Thunder King against dragons is just great. Actually, macro Faucetine. Opening macro Faucetine and something to protect Faucetine is you win basically, unless they have heavy. Because all they can do is summon, react, and stream, and those two can be bottomless or mirror forced or compulsed. I don't want to compulse it though. Mirror Force is really good this format to get rid of your opponent's big fields. A little not as good as against dragons, unless you play it right and basically get them to I don't know, maybe like Powder Duality and into a Compulse and set Mirror Force or something like that. I don't know. Judgment to protect your back row mainly from heavy, because that happened a lot. Warning. Warning is warning. The one torrential, which just just massive field destruction type thing. Okay, the side deck, triple consecrated, because this deck has a hard time against Evil Swarm, and this card allows me to play just allows me to beat Evil Swarm basically. I have to open this and keep it on the field. So it's the main thing I would lance if they were to try to get off the field, like torrential or anything, because they can't really play. They can only use back row, and then I have to play around their back row, but still. Um, Unless they play Phoenix Chain, which is what the MSTs are also for, so it doesn't matter. Fossil Die. Oh yeah, I had 2 of these in my extra deck on Friday when I did LCQs, and that's why I lost, I feel, in the finals of the LCQs, because I played Evil Swarms and I was only setting 2 instead of 3 at the time. I was also playing Deefussion instead of Compulse, and the other guy played like triple Compulse, which is really good, but you know, he always had it. Fossil Dyna is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you put them in for dragons, and dragons, not spellbooks, of course, but dragons and Evil Swarm and mermails. Kaiku for spellbooks and dragons, depending on who goes first, really, but Kaiku's Kaiku. He's for, like, when your dragon player already has a full graveyard, I guess. Max C for when the dragon player goes first, I guess. Not as good with macro, so these probably will become Vaskis, but I'm not sure yet. Because this deck uses like quite a few resources to get around a Draco or something. Even though I could just put Book of Moon in here and be like Darkhold Book of Moon or something. I don't know. Mainly I want to make it where my opponent doesn't get it out at all. You know, like bottomless or something. But if Dragon's players go first, it's kind of hard to play around it. So with this deck, Reptilian Vasky might be a good idea. So either the Maxi or the Reptilian Vasky. They're both the same reason, basically. Then again, Maxi makes the dragon player, usually they just stop. So I should get, if they go first, I Maxi, and they stop after 1 or 2, then I'll get to go. They might not make Draco Sack. I'll get to deal with their dragons, which are a little bit easier to deal with, and then perhaps even make them not able to play 1, go Rabbit. Hopefully don't get Vaylord. Macrocosmos is very powerful against dragons, especially with Thunder King. I never drew the Gozen that I sided against dragons, but I mean the 1 Gozen, it's probably gonna become like a Grand Mole, because that's better and is really good against Evil Swarm, especially with the safe zone. Because I mean I can deal with safe zone. I side the 3rd MST, but yeah. 3rd macro, obvious reasons. Macro hurts wow. Let's find it again. Alright, macro hurts dragons really. Macro hurts dragons a lot if you open macro. If you don't open macro, then it doesn't hurt them. You have to, for macro to hurt for the most efficiently for it to hurt, you have to open Thunder King and macro, basically, because they have to use their smaller dragons. They can pitch their smaller dragons, and they can banish dragons from their hand to summon big dragons. If you have Macrocosmos and Thunder King, they're probably going to banish from their hand to summon big dragons, and they can't search, so they run out of cards fast. And then if you have other back row to protect the Thunder King, then like a bottomless or compulse, then you're gonna win probably. I've thought about siding like one soul release, because against dragons you can like summon Thunder King and play soul release and banish all their big dragons from the grave, and they won't be able to search. And I feel like that would be really good, but I haven't tested it. And last but not least, triple Vanity's Emptiness, because this card is definitely deadly with when comboed with Macrocosmos, because it can't be destroyed by its own effect. And unfortunately, though, people are citing, I don't know, people might be citing triple MST because they always see them draw it, because this guy, he won because he drew heavy and MST, but yeah. Okay, extra deck. Abyss Dweller is for dragons and mermaids, but mainly dragons, because I already have enough hate against mermaids, obviously. This is enough. And that. But yeah, they have full graveyard, basically. Abyss Dweller, they can't activate effects in the graveyard. It's really good. Damodar to destroy big threats like Trag, but I really don't like using this guy. He's like one of those last resort kind of thing, like I have nothing else that I can do. Dolkas, Lagias. I didn't have a cowboy during the tournament, but I don't remember what this card was supposed to be, so because I was borrowing like this almost all the cards, staples and everything but like one false Donna, the normals, tour guides, heat waves, and compulse, and judgment. Borrowed everything else. Gemini Pearl's okay. The main reason I play it is, besides the fact that he's a 2600 beater, he can be summoned under Heat Wave. So, I don't know how useful that is. Anyways, I never used him, I don't think. Leviair for power plays basically, or special, yep, just power plays mainly. Hopefully he doesn't get Veiler, but if I have macro then I don't have to worry about that. Maestroke for Ophions for defensive plays. I don't like going defensive because that means I'm probably losing. What else? You know, book him in effect. Shockmaster I brought out one time against a dragon player, and which is the reason I finally decided to switch out Dimensional Prison for Compulse, because he had a Draco sack. I got rid of the tokens. I summoned Shockmaster, called Monster Effects, and set Dimensional Prison, and he still had the Draco sack on board. And he went MST, attack. Had that gun been Dimensional Prison been a compulse, I would have won. But whatever. I go into Acid Golem quite a bit, because he's really big, and my life points really don't matter, because if my opponent's going to take me out, it's probably going to be really fast anyways. And he's a really big monster and a threat to most decks, and I just let my opponent deal with him, and once they waste resources on it, getting rid of it basically, then I can put my more important things on board. Photon Pappy Operative. Didn't really use this that much. Yeah, I didn't really use it that much. It's okay, like, putting the tokens in attack mode or something, but I mean, you would only do that if you're going for game. Tempo, I used once or twice. I know that this one Mermail player in the tournament had like an Abyss Dweller they had made with a Dragoons and my Thunder King. And then I went tour guide this and detach her Dragoons and attacked over for 1,000, I think. Yeah. No, 500. I think so. And last but not least, Zen mains, which mainly defensive, but is used to get rid of cards as well because of its pop effect at the end phase. Yeah, Electric Virus though. It's being cited. That's the deck. You can tell me what you think. I think I did extremely well, especially for the deck I was playing. 3-1 against Spellbook. 2-2 against Dragons. 3-1 against Evil Swarm. Undefeated. 3-0 against Mermails. And then other rogue decks that I did. I lost to that Gargia Karkuri guy, which was really close, but yeah. He said in prayer on wall and I didn't have it. I just didn't have it. The MST. But you know what? That's what happens. Alright. And what you think? Later.